Today on Smart Talks, we're joined by someone who embodies strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Mckinli Hatch is a social media influencer and single mother who has bravely shared her journey as a survivor of domestic violence with the world. Through vulnerability and authenticity, Mckinli uses her platform to uplift others and bring visibility to the reality that so many survivors face. Her story is one of pain transformed into power, and we're honored to have her join us to talk about healing, motherhood, and how she is using her voice. Please note that this episode contains depictions of trauma and domestic violence. Please take care of yourself and visit our website for hotlines and resources if needed.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Smart Talks. Today, so excited to be here with Mckinli. She is someone who has showed unbelievable bravery and courageousness and vulnerability. She has shared things with her following on Instagram that I think many of us would really question whether or not we are able to do that. So diving right in, well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
And diving right in, how do you feel like your content that you've created since you've been on Instagram has evolved and changed?
So when I very first started out, it was very just highlight reel. I had no idea that I was going to go viral or be an influencer, if you will say. Mm-hmm. It started off as like a family blog, sharing highlights, birthday parties, all of that. And that was at 21. So now I'm 34. So it's been years of being on social media, and I've just kind of evolved to kind of being more authentic now. And now that I have a story to tell and can relate more to people, I feel like that's more important than showing like the picture perfect side of like momhood. Yeah, I guess you will, is when I started.
For those people who have never heard your story, do you mind sharing as much as you feel comfortable?
Yeah. So I was just in a very intense situation with domestic violence with someone I loved and trusted that ended up not being someone I could love or trust. And that kind of got highlighted after becoming an influencer.
Mm-hmm. So you posted one thing on your Instagram reel, and it's like one of the most kind of like moving things that I've seen. Mm-hmm. And this is, and if you don't feel like sharing,
yeah,
but you posted a picture of your bruises, of what you had sustained after this person attacked you, mm-hmm. and you covering them up. And it moved me to tears. It was so amazing that you were willing to share that and show people. And it was such a great, a lot of the things that we talk about, like you don't know someone's story, you don't know what someone's going through, don't judge a book by its cover and things. I think so many people must have been so surprised mm-hmm. to see that, to know that that was kind of going on behind the scenes. So first, I just want to say thank you for posting that, because I think it's a real look at mm-hmm. what is happening that so many people don't know, right?
Yeah.
And it was so courageous of you. So what was going through your head? Like what was the push to make you kind of really show, here's what was really going on, guys, mm-hmm. and here's what this looked like for me? What pushed you to share that?
So the crazy part about it is I probably never would have even posted or even came out publicly if an article wasn't written about it, because I was an influencer. Once it was posted, then I had to decide if I would come out and talk about it, mm-hmm. or if I would just let it lay down low and like mm-hmm. never say anything. I could have done that and everything probably just would have righted low. I remember like my mom, she was a single mom too. And she like posted, I remember she like took a photo of her and she was like crying. And she was like, I took a photo of me crying to like know that I would never go back to that point. Mm. And I remember taking the video that I ended up posting. And I remember I didn't take that video to post online. I had no idea I was going to do that. I took that video because I had to go pick up my kids the next day. And I wanted to remember that moment and what I was trying to hide and how I was like defending this human that was doing this to me. And I wanted to remember that personally. And then it ended up, the day that I filed the protection order was the day that I posted it. So it was just kind of like I'm not going back this is what's
Yeah.
happening. Everyone already knows my story. Here's my side of it. I've been silent. I don't want to be silent for very much longer. I wasn't ready to fully tell my story, but I was ready to be like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like for you, it was a way of you like reclaiming your voice and your power.
Reclaiming my
he was
voice.
silencing you.
Making it so that I knew I wouldn't go back. Because I knew if I came out publicly and said like, yes, he actually did do this, that I wouldn't go back. So it's kind of a way to make sure I didn't do that too, in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I just also really appreciated it because I think, I mean, whether we want to admit it or not, we judge people based on appearance all the time. Like, oh, do I trust this person? Do I not trust this? That person looks like a good person. Whether you're consciously thinking it, like your eyes are taking in information, your brain is immediately processing it, and like you are making snap judgments.
Yes. And
all the
it's
time.
hard with it being an influencer too, because those were my happy moments. I was sharing the reels and the highlights of that relationships that did make me happy. So it was like hard when all of a sudden it went from so happy to this is what's actually happening. And like to have to confirm it was really hard to do because I felt like an attack on me. And like I couldn't, like, that's very shameful to be like, I went back or I allowed that to happen.
Do you still carry that shame? Do you still feel that? Do you carry that shame?
Not as much anymore as like people have reached out, but like that was a very hard burden to carry for a while.
Well, I think that's really hard. And I think a lot of people who are outside of who have never experienced that or don't have a loved one, a family member, like someone that they care about, they don't understand that it's not as easy. Like they're always like, why didn't you just leave? The first time that it happened. And it's like, it's not that easy for so many reasons. It's so complicated. And like you said, people just judge like the first second that they hear about it or that they see about it. It's a snap judgment. So people don't understand that like cycle of love and abuse, or for many women, the financial abuse that's associated. Where would they go to? Where is a safe place? Who is a safe person in their life to talk to about it, right?
Yes.
And all of that comes along with this. It's not as simple as leaving. And I also have to say, I hate when people ask that question. I try to remind myself, this isn't out of that, it's more out of ignorance, like not knowing and understanding. But it's so hard because, again, I feel like it's an example of how society and the community and these judgments really are putting the responsibility on the survivor instead of the perpetrator who's doing this. Like, well, why doesn't he stop that violent behavior instead of why doesn't she leave, right? So I think I appreciate you like saying that and talking about that and bringing that up, because I feel like that is so, people just don't get that. They don't understand it.
And I wish I could quote word for word what you said last night, because it like struck me so hard, of something along the lines, and you can repeat it, but if you can't understand, like I'm so happy for you, you don't understand. Because like I could sit there and explain to people all the reasonings why I did what I did, but if you don't understand it, like I'm just so grateful that you don't, because I wish that on no one.
What a like beautiful, graceful way for you to respond, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and you just, I mean, yes, you would hope that people don't understand, but at the same time, there's another side of me that's like, compassion, people, compassion, okay? Yeah. But like sometimes I have to take a few deep breaths. I'm like, it's okay, Elizabeth, you don't know what's going on in their life. They could have just been told to get to the hospital. Grandpa's dying. I don't know. I mean, hopefully not, but you really don't know.
You never know. And then just watching such like a beautiful soul and on stage just gives everybody like so much hope and confidence in like telling their stories. So that was a very beautiful thing that you did.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, I'm just so grateful for people who shared their stories with me, because it wasn't talked about. I mean, I feel like we're kind of moving into a space now where sexual violence, domestic violence, human trafficking, abduction, these different conversations that before now haven't been hugely talked about.
And
I
you
feel
don't
like,
want to talk about
and you
it.
don't want to, but I feel like it's beginning to change. It's beginning to become a little bit safer. And so I just like think back to myself again. I'm so glad for the survivors who came before me and who shared their stories with me, because when it happens to you, because it's not commonly talked about, you feel like you're so alone. And then you're afraid of the judgments that people make, and you're afraid of those snap decisions that people make just based off of looking at you, or because you present yourself a certain way. Just your courageousness and determination to keep going forward. It's amazing.
Thank you. But also, like, people like you are the reason that I can do what I do, and hopefully do that for other people. And that is the reason that I do it now. And you like look back and you're like, why did I do it? Why did I go through this? Still, even like watching you on stage, I'm like, why did she have to go through this? But like, what you're doing is amazing, and like, it is why I'm doing what I do, and why I hope other people like keep telling their story.
Going back to what we were talking about in a domestic violence situation, and like I was saying, people who don't understand, people who, you know, lash out sometimes at the person who's experiencing the violence and say, well, why don't they do this, or why don't they do that? Can you, to the extent that you feel comfortable, talk about some of the emotional or logistical challenges throughout that period when you kind of made your mind up that I'm not going to go through, like, I'm leaving, I'm done with this, it's over. Like, can you kind of take listeners through what some of those challenges were for you?
It was so hard. Like, I went back several times, which I'm learning is very normal, but I like beat myself up over going back so many times. And especially the internet's like, you have kids, why didn't you think of them? But the whole time, that's what I was thinking of when I went back, and don't understand the reasonings of like why someone is doing what they're doing. So I think like reaching out to like someone that would be like in a similar situation would be just like being there. It's so hard to ask questions about like why, or why don't you do this, or you should have done this. And just like being there for somebody is just like helps so much.
Thank you for listening to Smart Talks. This is a quick break to say thank you to one of our sponsors. This season of Smart Talks with the Elizabeth Smart Foundation is sponsored by Mckinli Couture Blankets. At the Elizabeth Smart Foundation, we know the power of comfort and safety, and that's exactly what Mckinli brings into every home. Their blankets are luxurious, so soft, beautifully made, and designed to wrap you in warmth, because everyone deserves to feel secure. We're so grateful for Mckinli's support in our mission to end sexual violence and to empower survivors. Treat yourself or someone you love to the comfort of Mckinli and join us in supporting a safer world. Use code ESF, all caps, for 50% off your order today.
So when you came out with your story, I loved that you were like, I did it for me. You did it for you, to be like, never again will I do this. I think you wrote on your post, like, I will never hide for you again, or something like that, which I was like, that's so beautiful and so strong, all wrapped into one.
That
and
should
you weren't
be like a
tagline. I know.
Yeah.
I thought that was so incredible. So you did it for you, which I loved, because I think that's who you should do it for, right?
Yeah.
But I think now your story has gotten out, and so many people, I think, have been inspired and affected by that in such a positive way. What do you hope after you posted that, what did you hope that meant for other survivors or other women who might be in similar situations to yours?
So when I posted it, again, it was more something for myself. I had no idea it was going to go that viral. I posted it so I knew that I had the accountability not to go back. And once I posted it, it went more viral than I could have known. And the DMs from thousands of women is the reason that I knew after that video that I had to keep speaking out about it, because it's so much more common than you think. And there were girls that were reaching out to me, men too, but a lot of women that reached out to me that like they had never told anyone, and they had no safe space to tell anybody. And it's just me, a random influencer on Instagram, that they're choosing to like send me pictures and send me stories of like what's happening. And I'm like trying to like guide it. And I'm like, it's just such something that like no one talks about. That's why now I'm at the point where like I need to talk about it more. I need to discuss my healing process, whether it is picture perfect, what everyone thinks it should be, or whether it is not. But I'm just going to try to do it the best I can, because I feel like through reading my DMs, it's helping somebody. And if my story can help somebody, then I will keep preaching it as loud as I can, which is hard because like I don't want to be the one to tell the story.
Yeah.
But I'm here now and I'm going to tell it.
You are so much more than just a domestic violence survivor. Like that is certainly, yes, part of your life, but you are so much more. But I mean, you're a creator, you're, you know, an incredible woman. Like you have so much to offer the world now, but you're also a mother.
Yeah.
What is important to you that you teach your children? I mean, that you feel like you've learned from your relationships?
Resilience, I think, is the biggest thing. Like, you never know what life is going to throw at you. It could be the craziest situation. You could ride through life and be all great, but at some point in time, something's going to knock you down and you just got to keep getting back up. And that's what I hope I can teach my kids is like, no matter what happens, I've had my fair share of challenges. You just got to keep getting back up. And that's what I hope they learn.
I hope my kids learn that too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Do your kids know do they understand what happened and like, have you taken them through that? Because you've also gone to court and which I want to talk about in a second, but what have you kind of said to your children about this experience? If you can share.
Yeah. So my older two know as much as they can know, I guess, if I can word it that way.
Yeah.
My younger two like know a little bit of what happened, but not really. My oldest, he's 16 now. He found out at school before I even got on the flight home. So that was a really hard thing to deal with because I wasn't the first person to be able to tell him.
Yeah.
He found out at school, which is hard. And he's like my firstborn, and he is just like the biggest, strongest person I know. And I just like the only thing I can do at this point in time is just like hope that my story shapes who he is as a person, because there's nothing else I can do. I got dealt my cards. I'm handling it the best I can.
Yeah. I think you're doing an amazing job of handling it.
He's so strong and he's great. And then my other ones they were younger when it happened. So they probably won't fully understand it until they're older. They know a little bit, but they understand it as much as they can.
Yeah.
It's a tricky balance. People ask me all the time, like, so you told your kids?
I can't even imagine. Yeah.
I mean, have I told them like nitty gritty details? No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, would my oldest be able to tell you the most? Yes.
Yeah.
What would my youngest say? I mean, she's the boss at our house right now, so I'm not sure that she really cares. Exactly. But I mean, she could be like, yeah, my mom was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Insane, but they don't understand right now at this age, and I don't need to give them the information information right now,
which is okay.
So they know a little bit of like some things because they have to, but like it's hard to even put that on them.
Yeah,
it is hard to have those conversations. But I mean, like, as now, I mean, all my kids roll their eyes at me all the time because I'm like, no, do you know why I'm saying no? And they're like, because you want us to be safe. I'm like, yes, that's right. Whenever I have like safety conversations with them, which I feel like I have a lot, I'm like, no, you cannot.
Yeah.
Like, go do this, or no, like, I'm not going to give you that, or no, whatever the no is too. And then I'll be like, do you understand why?
Yes.
And like making sure that they understand that it's for their safety, not just because I'm being mean, is so important to me, even though I think they probably mostly think I'm still being mean, but
I think we're mean and not cool.
I think all of our kids probably, right? Like all of our kids could probably say that about us. Okay, so one thing that I want to ask you about is, because I think it's different for every person. You mentioned that after the video went viral, you had so many people reaching out to you, right? So many women, and you mentioned men. And so you kind of took that on to be able to start talking about it. Has that helped your healing journey, or has that been tough to balance with your own experience, right? Like hearing the experiences of all of these other people, has it just compounded the like trauma for you, or has it made you feel like you aren't alone and you're a part of like a community of people who have also suffered that? Like, what has that meant to you?
So at first, it was back and forth. Like there is such an overwhelming support of women. And I would say 98% of the people that are messaging me and commenting are so supportive. You feel so seen and you can relate. And that is the reason that I keep doing what I'm doing. The 2% is really hard because they make comments that are just like out of this world, that are like nothing to, like, they don't know the situation. And like, I don't even expect anyone to, but those are hard to hear. So the 2% really affects you. But like, if you can just, I try not to read. I try not to read the comments. I try not to read the posts, anything like that. I just focus on my DMs, because I feel like those are the actual women that can't comment, you know, that need a little bit more like just someone to talk to at that point in time. So I focus on that and I kind of respond to those messages instead and try to as best as I can. But it's both. It's a lot.
If there was one thing that you could say to people who find themselves in a similar situation as you did, what would it be? If you have any words of advice for them?
I would say take your time. Like, you don't, because mine was just so right as it happened. Everything was in the news. I got podcast after podcast and like I couldn't do it. I was just a mess myself, trying to take care of 4 kids at the same time in a business. So just like take your time, heal as you need to. If you feel the need to help others at some point in time, once you're healed, you should do that. But like, just take your time and focus on yourself, because like so much has happened that you just need to like regroup for a second.
Great. So what would you say to someone who has maybe seen your stuff online, heard you talk about your journey, and they think that someone in their life might be in an abusive relationship? What would be your advice for how they could talk, like open a conversation or support that person?
And that's such a hard topic. And I've kind of experienced it, not to like the level that I was in. And my friends and family, like, they each handled it so differently. And I respect all of them, because some were very, leave him right now, we're never going to talk to you again if you don't leave him. And that was hard, because then I felt like I was picking between the two. And I felt like the people that were just like, we're here for you when you need to leave, or when you need help, please they were just there. They would just check in on me daily. They would FaceTime me and be like, I'm not going to not stop FaceTiming you until you answer me, just so I know you're okay. Like, the people that just like checked in and were like just there for me, those are, it went miles. And those were the people that I knew when I finally decided to leave, that I knew I could turn to. Were the people that kind of still had the best intentions for me, but were almost in a threatening way, like, you need to leave or we're never going to be there for you again. Those ones were harder to reach out to. So like, the ones that were just like there were really good for me when I finally left.
That's great.
What is something, and this can be anything, it doesn't have to pertain to social media, it doesn't have to pertain to domestic violence, but what is one thing that you wish the world knew about you?
Just that I'm just like a happy-go-lucky person. Like, I try to make the best out of any situation. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I will try to find the positive, and I'm always just a positive person.
Love that. You definitely exude that positivity being in person with you. Oh, Mckinli, you've had this experience that you've bravely come out and share about in terms of an unhealthy relationship and violence that was perpetrated against you. But you also have the cutest boyfriend. You guys are the cutest couple. You seem so happy and in love. And so I was wondering if, for our listeners, you can kind of share, based on your experiences, some red flags of things that are an unhealthy relationship, and then some green flags of what a healthy relationship and loving relationship does look like.
Yes. Okay. So my biggest red flag, and what I've like noticed, even in friends, even if it's not going to be like domestic violence craziness, like the controlling behaviors is very like a big red flag for me. And I talked about that in another podcast. That was my first red flag with him. Is I was going on a girls trip, which was like a very innocent little fun girls trip that I already had planned. And he was very controlling over that situation. And I felt like that was the biggest red flag. Also, just like not celebrating your wins, I feel like is a big one. Just like the whole, like, they slowly try to manipulate, slowly try to isolate you from friends and family. just so they control the whole situation. So like the more little red flags that you see of controlling, like they're going to end up being bigger red flags in the end. So my boyfriend now, he's great, so sweet to me, just supports anything that I do. So I feel like those are the two like big green and red flags, were like how supportive if they're trying to control what you're doing, or supportive of what you're trying to accomplish.
I love that.
Those are probably the two biggest ones.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so you are also an entrepreneur in addition to being a creator and an influencer and an advocate for domestic violence survivors now. You're an entrepreneur, so I wanted to ask you about your business and how you balance that with all of the other roles in your life.
Yeah. Wait, and what is your business? Also, our listeners will want to know.
So I had a clothing boutique. I started it when I was 21. I still have it currently. Through everything I went through, we've kind of put that on pause for a second just to like get through life. And I've kind of focused more on content creating, which has been crazy, fun, something that I almost like enjoy more than the business side of it is so great to like create something, but the influencer side is just like me authentically. And I get to do that while raising my baby. So I love that. But it's a juggle because I'm like doing emails while on the school pickup line and like 3 different schools with 4 different kids. Like we're back and forth. So it's craziness, but it's good. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay. And I mean, I have 3 kids. Heather has 2 kids. You have 4 kids.
Yes.
Like, I mean, without a doubt, my kids are like the best part of my life.
Yes.
I love them more than anything I can ever imagine. How do you feel like being a mother has influenced you as a person?
So I got pregnant at 17. So I have been a mom since like the day I came into adulthood. He grew up with me. It has completely shaped my entire life, and I wouldn't have it any other way because he is like my anchor. He just like my reason why. So I'm like, if I ever like know why I need to do anything, it's him. And it just like everything you do, you do it for them plus yourself. Because if you're flourishing, they're flourishing.
Yeah.
And they just make everything better. Like motherhood is like one of the best things. What got me through, honestly, everything that I went through. Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I have to do it for them. Like I have to figure this out for them. So like they will always be my reason why. As crazy as it is to like juggle 4 as a single mom.
Yeah.
I have help now with my boyfriend, but like it's still insane. And like it makes everything worth it, honestly.
I love that.
Yeah.
They're so lucky to have you as a mom.
They're the sweetest. I'm blessed that they have given me grace to still go through what I went through and still be there and be my rocks through it all.
Do you feel like you have any parenting tips that you've picked up along the way that you're like, if I could say this to all new mothers or mothers to be or current mothers, it would be this?
My only tip is just like love them so hard. Love them so hard. Like they are just the sweetest little innocent things. They don't know what's going on. They're learning about it day by day. Just give them grace, give them love. And like, if you do that, everything will work out in the end. And they'll be good people.
I love that.
That's perfect.
That's great. Well, Mckinli, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been such a pleasure.
You are so lovely and kind. And again, I appreciate you just sharing your story and being vulnerable. And like, I appreciate it on such a deep level.
So thank you for having me. I like appreciate it on a deep level, and for like letting you come on here and letting me tell a snippet of my story just like validates me more. So I appreciate that so much.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. Well, thank you to everyone for listening to this episode. So grateful to Mckinli, my co-host Heather, as always. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this with everyone you know, naturally. And thank you. And until next time.
That's it for today's episode of Smart Talks, brought to you by the Elizabeth Smart Foundation. Thanks for joining us as we dive into these important conversations about creating a safer, more compassionate world. We hope that what you've heard challenges you to think deeply, feel more compassionately, and see the world through the powerful lens of a survivor's truth. If today's episode resonated with you, or if you know someone who would benefit from hearing this, please share it with them and consider subscribing. And leave us a review wherever you're listening. We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media. You'll find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. If you would like to support, you can make a one-time or recurring donation of any amount at elizabethsmartfoundation.org/donate. You can also find more resources and ways to get involved on our website. Thank you for listening and being a part of a community that listens, believes, and works together to create a future where no one has to suffer in silence.